Well, folks, I'm excited. Are you excited? The late night shows are back. I know you missed them. Wait, you didn't? Well, they're back anyway. So I am displeased with the return of late night. I'm not sure anybody noticed the return of late night. Well, were they ever gone? Did we care that they were gone? I'm not sure that they did. But apparently they're all back now. And they are worse than ever. So I was pretty happy with the writer's strike, to be honest with you, because at least then we didn't have to deal with this kind of crap. Anyway, Jimmy Fallon announced that he was back last night to the cheers of at least 24 people in his audience. And here he was last night.
But I had a lot of time, 5 months, a lot of time to really just sit and think, and I just finally just took a moment, and I just realized how grateful I am for all of this and for this show. I really love it. I really love this job. I love doing it. I love telling jokes. I love interviewing people. I love making you laugh. I'm very lucky to have this show, and I want to thank you all for supporting and choosing to have me in your bedrooms at nighttime.
Okay, well, you know who doesn't appreciate him? His own employees. And there's a whole article while he was out about how terrible he is to his own staff. But there's that. Meanwhile, the joke writers were back at it, and man, do they have jokes to tell about, wait for it, Donald Trump. They're going to tell more jokes about I don't even know how you could live without jokes from Stephen Colbert about Donald Trump for the past few weeks. I mean, it was a dark time in American history. Here's Stephen Colbert back to telling crappy jokes about Trump.
Big Apple also got a visit from Donald Trump today. No, you're happy he was here because he's attending a civil trial that he has already lost. You see, last Tuesday, the judge in this case took the rare step of issuing a summary judgment, ruling that when it came time for him to apply for loans, Trump persistently committed fraud by inflating the value of his assets and said that Trump was living in a fantasy world, not the real world. Yes, a fantasy world where he won the election, windmills kill whales, and this is 215 pounds.
So funny. Man, without those rhetoric, AI could replace those jokes so easily it would make your head swim. Was there a laugh anywhere in there? I'm confused as to where it was. But don't worry, it wasn't just Stephen Colbert. Jimmy Kimmel was back, and he also had jokes about a topic you'll never believe what he was joking about. Wait, hold up. Wait, this just in, it was Trump. Whoa, no way. You mean these dumbasses are back at it joking about Trump because they can never tell a joke about a Democrat unless they lose their Democrat Party wallet card or something? Here is Jimmy Kimmel. At one point, Jimmy Kimmel used to be funny. It's pretty amazing how the funny have fallen.
Trump is now facing 91 felony counts. 91 felony counts. It's like all of Melania's birthday wishes came true at once. Every time something happened in the news, I would get texts asking me if I was bummed we didn't have a show that night. And mostly I was fine, but the one that really got me was when they booked Trump in Georgia and he self-reported his weight at 215 pounds. I almost crossed the picket line for that. I really. If I was the judge in the case he has going on in New York right now, I'd start the trial. I'd say, listen, look, we're going to get to the fraud thing, but first, hop up on this scale, big fella.
Wow. Like they're all telling the same joke about how he's fat. Man, they're amazing at this. They are so good at this. I'm so glad that the writers are back. How could we have survived without the writers? The G20, or Group of 20, is an international forum for governments and central bank governors. It was established in 1999 in response to the financial crises of the late 1990s with the aim of promoting international financial stability. Well, last month, that G20 announced a plan to impose digital currencies and digital IDs on their respective populations. Central bank digital currencies essentially allow the government to track every purchase you make. They could even allow officials to prohibit you from purchasing certain products or freeze your account altogether. Well, even if you don't follow international economic policies all that closely, you should be concerned. Again, I've diversified into gold. You should too. Get the help of my friends over at Birch Gold Group. Call Birch Gold today. Preserve your savings in a tax-sheltered retirement account. I've been a customer of Birch Gold for years. They are the experts in precious metals. They make it incredibly easy to become a customer. If you have an IRA or 401k from a previous employer that's just gathering dust, call Birch Gold. They'll help you convert it into an IRA in gold. You're not going to pay a penny out of pocket. They'll simply convert that 401k sitting in a bank somewhere into physical gold. It can't be tampered with. Text Ben to 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. If digital currency becomes a reality, you'll be glad you have something physical to fall back on. Text Ben to 989898 today. Claim your free info kit on gold. Again, inflation ain't going away either, so gold is a good way to defray some of that risk. Go check out Birch Gold today by texting 989898 to Birch Gold. and claim your free info kit today. Baseball season is officially over. That does not mean the fun has to end. That's because Prize Picks offers projections on pretty much every sport there is. NBA, MLB, NFL, NHL, PGA, college sports, esports, NASCAR, tennis, MMA, disc golf, whatever you are into. Prize Picks is the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. You pick 2 to 6 players and you choose whether they will score more or less than their Prize Picks projection. You can win up to 25 times your money on a single entry. You don't compete against other people. It's just you versus the projections. Plus, Prize Picks has a reboot policy that keeps your entries in play even if one of your players gets injured. So, for NFL games and college football top 25 matchups, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is then rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance. Producer Jake has been raving about Prize Picks. He's been enjoying his sports viewership. It's easy to interact with the app. The interface is a lot simpler than comparative apps. Go to prizepicks.com/Ben. Use promo code Ben for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Ben with promo code Ben for a deposit match again up to $100. On the Trump front, Donald Trump is spending his days in the courtroom. Now, again, that's not his fault. He's being prosecuted for no apparent reason in New York. They're prosecuting him for fraud, despite the fact that the people he supposedly defrauded say that they did not rely on his assertions of value in order to issue loans, for example. So he would say, yeah, my apartment is worth $1 bajillion and it's 3 times the size it is. And the loan officer would then say, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do our own appraisal. And then they would do it based on the appraisal. And now they're going after him for like $250 million. I understand it's stupid. And I mean, you can see how drummed up all of this is. And there was a pool camera inside the courtroom the other day. And honestly, the optics of this are so awkward and weird. You've got Letitia James, who's in the background. She's the AG of New York, who's been pledging for years to go after Donald Trump. And she's like glaring at Trump in the background. And then the camera makes its way around to Judge Engoron, who is the judge in this case, who's a liberal Democrat, who starts mugging for the camera. It's all gross and stupid. And here's what the pool camera looked like.
You're more likely to have cameras in state proceedings, and so it's up to the discretion of the judge. You can
see it zooming into
and
Letitia
frankly,
James, and
I'm
she's
not too sure that
weirdly, it is all an Arrested Development outtake. Honest to God, we are just a bad comedy, this country.
The optics of this is working.
She's a clown show. She's glaring at Trump. Pull out,
right
focusing on Trump.
Will be either filled with rage or they will be thrilled.
And then the camera person is making his way around the room and finds his way to Judge Engoron.
James now being shown in the
background. And he mugs for the camera.
You've got Trump in the foreground. And it fulfills the narrative on both sides.
Our country is such a clown show. It's such a clown show. But is any of this likely to make Joe Biden not president? That's all I care about. Make Joe Biden not the president anymore. 2024. That should be the campaign slogan. And again, it's not Trump's fault that he's being dragged into court in this particular case. But if the entire campaign is going to revolve around this stuff, he's not going to win. If the entire campaign is about Donald Trump's legal troubles, he is not going to win. Well, now he's been told to watch what he says and posts or risk ending up behind bars for up to a month. In the second day of the former president's financial fraud trial, Judge Arthur Engoron just issued a limited gag order against everyone in the civil case to stop verbal and social media-related posted swipes at members of his staff. Personal attacks on members of my court staff are unacceptable, not appropriate, Engoron made clear Tuesday after Trump took a partisan swing at the judge's principal law clerk, Allison Greenfield, on Trump's Truth Social platform. Calling what Trump did, quote, a disparaging, untrue, and personally identifying post about a member of my staff, Engoron only cited one of the defendants as the one behind the post, but it was obviously referring to Trump. The now deleted post showed Greenfield in a picture standing next to Chuck Schumer and called her Schumer's girlfriend. With his long history of going on offense, today is the first time any judge has put the restraints of a gag order on Trump that's according to deadline. And by the way, Engoron would love nothing better than to put Donald Trump behind bars for a month. He would love it. It would be his favorite thing in the entire world. Trump, for his part, he is campaigning against the grossly incompetent and fraudulent Letitia James, who I noticed is not the current president of the United States. I'm not blaming Trump for going on offense on this stuff. My point is, if the entire race is about Donald Trump's legal troubles, he's not going to win. I know that's an audacious claim, but if the entire campaign is about that, his chances of victory are a lot slimmer than they would be if the opposite were true. Democrats know this, which is why they are doing it. Now, that can be unfair. It can be wrong. It is unfair, and it is wrong. All of those things are true. Also, you know what my top priority is as a conservative? Not Joe Biden not being president. That's my top priority. I don't like what they're doing to Trump. I think it's very bad. So we should all contribute to Donald Trump's legal defense fund, and then we might want to think about nominating a candidate who isn't going to spend the next 8 months in the courtroom, spending every dollar that goes into his campaign fund on legal fees. And here's Trump yesterday going after Letitia James.
But he's been given false information, misleading information, and corrupt information by a very corrupt and incompetent Attorney General Letitia James. This woman is grossly incompetent. She ran on the basis, I will get Trump without knowing anything about it. So he's been given this information. It's now been proven to be false, such as Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach, Florida, being worth $18 million, when in fact it's much closer to $1.5 billion. At a minimum, she should start looking for the murderers and the criminals, the violent criminals all over New York, do something about all of the illegal migrants pouring into our city and state, and not spend the next 6 months in a courthouse because she's been caught early. Her numbers are fraudulent. She's a fraud. Her numbers are fraudulent, and this case should be dismissed.
Okay, again, he's not wrong about any of that. Also, what is everybody talking about today? Now, what they should be talking about is the economic news, because the economic news for Joe Biden is awful. In recession, as I've been saying for months, what goes up must come down. It went up, now it's going to come down. Where the economy is going, people are holding their money in cash. Every investor I know right now is waiting to see what happens with prices, because essentially when the economy goes down, that's when everything goes on sale at the store. So there are a lot of people who are waiting to buy up assets when they hit the skids. Right now, they've been artificially bubbled by inflation, but they are going to go down. And it's going to take a little while for the economy to come back. So recession is probably around the corner right now. Shouldn't that be like top of mind for most Americans? In fact, it is top of mind for most Americans, unless they're focused in on dumb crap, unless they're focused in on stupidity. Again, there's a reason Democrats are doing this. Strategically, Democrats are putting Trump in the dock in order to make that the top issue. So you might say, okay, well, let's defend Trump by making him the nominee. Then you are in fact giving Democrats what they want, because what they do want is Trump in the dock as the nominee. They can only control one part of that, putting Trump in the dock. They can't control the other part, making him the nominee. Again, I get the emotional temptation to say, okay, well, you know, they want it, let's give it to them good and hard. The problem is that going to work? Is that likely to work? Is that going to be beneficial or not? Are you tired of the lies and the twist of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.